Well, I did it. I finished Attack on Titan, the final season, part 4, part 3 of the third coming of the last to the finale. And guess what? It sucks. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. Isayama dropped the ball so hard that it must have read on the Richter scale. Anybody who's defending the show probably has brain damage of sorts because there's just no other explanation. It's a cringe fest from start to finish, a total fustercluck of a show, and anybody who says that they like it is clearly out of their mind. Shinzo wo Sasageo, bitch. So why do you always ask me to come with you to bring cartridges when you only ever need one? You know, I didn't have to bring you along. It's almost like you don't. Anyway, wanna go watch Jujutsu Kaisen? Man, well, that show's so mid. Oh, what the fuck? Filthy monkeys. We're not to worry about Attack on Titan. That's a closed book. I'm more worried about what's going on at the neighbor's house, because they've been so noisy with Jujutsu Kaisen stuff popping up all over my Instagram, and I left the show alone for a bit, but I wanted to come back to see how things were going. Surely it couldn't have been too crazy, right? Holy anger management, Batman! What did Mappa do to make their animators so angry? Yeah, sounds about right. And this wasn't even the most recent episode. The most recent one is like 10 times more... I don't even know what to say. Explosive? Is that even a word? That just doesn't really seem to do it justice for this. However, I did like the episode with Jougo and Sukuna fighting better. Mostly because the fight scenes were... There was more of a reason behind the fight. I'm a huge sucker for scenes in anime, or just any form of media in general, where the characters are at the end of their rope, they're fighting for their life, and then there's just a kick-ass soundtrack in the background as they're either turning the tables or they're just taking on a last stand. Kind of like in Mugen Train with Rengoku. God bless. Demon Slayer, another good example, when Tanjiro's fighting Rui to save his sister. When Ed is fighting Father in Full Metal Alchemist. There's just more emotion behind those fights, probably because those shows have gone on for long enough, but also because I think that those fights were more relatable, if that makes sense. A lot of the time, Jujutsu Kaisen does fights where the characters are fighting just for the sake of not dying. It's a pretty good motivation to have, but I like a fight with a little bit more emotional substance to it. Why are they fighting? What's the story behind it? Can you flesh that out? So, going back to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, where Ed is fighting Father, he's fighting in anger of his lost brother who gave his own life to give Ed a fighting chance. That's crazy stuff, and I can get invested in that sort of fury, on top of it just being really well animated. So for Jujutsu Kaisen, I feel like the pieces are there for most of the fights that they do, but they don't give me the same emotional payoff that they could. Now, with Sukuna versus Jougo, you got really close. So, well done, Mappa. With that fight, I got the sense that Jougo wasn't fighting to live. I mean, although I'm sure that was a pretty good motivation. He was fighting to prove his strength after getting his butt kicked numerous times. The guy just wanted to prove how strong he was after everybody, including a good amount of the fandom, I'd be willing to bet, wrote this guy off as not particularly strong, or at least not particularly much of a threat. However, this fight, on rewatch, keeping that in mind as he tries to fight for his life, I felt some more emotion there. So, spoiler warning, Shu. In this fight, limbs start flying, lava's pulled out of the earth. I'm about to sneeze right now. Even talking about this scene is just making my senses flare, because it was just so well done. The animators were absolutely phenomenal with the work that they put into this, and they should be proud. I know that a lot of them were having mental breakdowns, worrying that they weren't going to finish, and that the CEO of Mappa was just telling them that they needed to increase their productivity, and I just have to give this personal word to them. Their work is certainly paying off. But back to the fight. Limbs go flying, lava's pulled out of the earth, and people are being thrown through buildings. It's crazy. Now, also in the fight, Jougo is obviously losing. Like, it's not even close. He gets eviscerated. So we'd probably have a better chance of getting No Game No Life Season 2 than Jougo had any chance of winning that fight. This kind of reminds me of a video that I saw that had to do with Steins Gate, where it's Okabe bullies Kurisu for 7 minutes, and it's just a compilation of all the scenes where Okabe just messes with her. But in this case, it's just Sukuna being a dick for 5.5 minutes. Just relentlessly bullying Jougo, but also a scene where other people are fighting nearby, and before a big blast hits, he appears right in the middle of them and says, yeah, you guys are not allowed to leave. There's a huge blast about to hit him, but he's like, no, you're not allowed to leave or I'm going to kill you, so leave when I clap my hands. And so he waits until the last possible millisecond to finally say, alright, you're good to go, and for the characters to jump away. Sukuna's just fun. I'm sorry, I just had to rant about Sukuna for a bit. He's just a really fun character. Also, just mucho attractive. If I had a husbando, he'd probably be one of the top contenders. So the 5.5 minutes goes by, Sukuna's had his fun, and he wants to end the fight. And the way that he goes about doing this is by matching Jougo's power. So to give you a bit of background on Sukuna's cursed techniques, I guess, I'm sure that I'm messing this up, but his power is to cleave and slice. He does not have a power to create fire like Jougo does, but he does it somehow, to Jougo's dismay. And so the two of them stand off, they do their hand signs, again, really well animated, and Jougo just has a face of just utter, I'm screwed. Like, his expression speaks for itself. He knows that he's not winning. So the sequence cuts to him either in his final moments or in the afterlife, talking with his dead cursed friends and looking very depressed, until Sukuna appears one more time and tells him that despite everything, he is strong. The character who was seemingly a laughingstock of his group, who got absolutely slapped by Gojo twice, and then had the misfortune of fighting one of the most powerful nut jobs in all of anime, was complimented by said super strong nut job and told that he is, in fact, strong. And then the floodgates open. Jougo starts crying tears of joy, relief, because finally, at long last, somebody acknowledged that he was strong. Something that he's very much wanted, and something that was pretty well built up since we first were introduced to the character. This is the kind of emotional weight that I'm talking about. When I see a fight in anime, I want to see it fleshed out to the point where it wells me up inside. And suffice to say, Jujutsu Kaisen has done it sometimes. A fight with more substance. That's what I ask for, Mappa. What I'd like you to do moving forward is create more fights that give me that emotional stir inside. Give me some more meat to the story. Give me some more flavor to the fight. And at the same time, don't squeeze the life out of your workers to try to get them to make the most well-animated scene or sequence. Because you've already done it. You've already made a really good animated show. But what's missing is more of a heart to it. It's more of a passion for the craft that leaves everybody stunned emotionally, subverting their expectations in a way that they didn't think would happen. I certainly didn't think that I'd go into that episode thinking Jougo was gonna cry. That was nuts. In a good way. But like I said, I know that the animators at Mappa have been going through they've been going through a tough time. So I'd like to say, Mappa, don't overextend your workforce, especially when that workforce is producing really good stuff at the time that you are giving them. Please give them more time to perform their magic. What can I say? I'm an antagonist, but I'm not heartless. These are horns, by the way. I especially gotta give credit to people who were able to do their work in a timely manner, especially since I have the opposite problem. Make the video, you lazy dipstick! No! It's been a week!
You can't make me. I don't feel like it.
Oh no! Who dropped these limited edition Miku Nakano postcards?
Ooh, I want him.
Oh yeah, I usually comment on the voice actors too. So I guess thank you to Jougo's Japanese voice actor for shredding his pipes like that. Takes a real big man to make those blood-curdling screams. But that's just about it. That's my letter to Mappa. Let's hope things change from here. Sayonara, suckers.